Morrison. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, and I thank the honourable member for bringing this very important debate. The number of competing demands on Britain's land is growing rapidly. To put this into context, Britain has around the same population as France, but the area of England, Scotland and Wales combined is only about 1/3 of the area of France, and most of us live squished into the bottom half of it. And of course, land is the one resource that we can't create more of. As Mark Twain allegedly said, buy land, they're not making it anymore. I'm very keenly aware of this in my constituency of the South Cotswold, where housing development here means a risk of flooding there, or a solar farm or gravel extraction means less grazing land for Wiltshire's cows, which I'm sure is a subject dear to the Chair's heart. So I was delighted earlier this year when the government launched its national consultation on land use, highlighting the potential to restore nature, support food production, strengthen climate resilience and deliver new housing and infrastructure. I absolutely applaud these ambitions, which matter deeply in an age of current and potential future global shocks. As already mentioned, at the moment, the UK imports about 40% of its food, even higher proportions for fruit and vegetables. In 2023, after Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, food price inflation reached its highest point in 45 years, adding to the pain of families already struggling to afford the basics. Food and energy sovereignty are not abstract concepts. They're the foundations of a healthy population and a resilient nation. Yet, sadly, some of the actions taken by this government since launching the land use framework conversation suggest that they see land as a zero-sum game. House building is pitted against biodiversity and renewable energy projects at the expense of food production. And this isn't going to work. A couple of points that I would like to make. Firstly, we must recognise the need to move beyond departmental silos and work cross-department with a truly systemic, holistic approach. At the moment, it all feels rather piecemeal, and this leaves farmers, councils and communities grappling with apparently contradictory demands. We need a genuinely multifunctional, multi-layered land use framework, one that recognises each piece of land's ability to meet multiple needs at once. The amazing pilot programmes being conducted by the Food, Farming and Countryside Commission show what's possible. These pilots in Devon and Cambridgeshire show that coordinated planning can support housing, energy, transport, net zero, biodiversity, food production and nature recovery, all at the same time. So planning decisions must reflect local geography, economies, needs and opportunities, and incorporate the detailed local knowledge of residents. If not, their implementation will likely fail and they won't be welcomed by our communities. In my own constituency, housing targets have doubled under the government's house building plans, and the proposed 2,000-acre Limedown solar farm would remove a huge area of farmland from production, which is causing huge local concern and pushback. Of course, it's true that we need to decarbonise and protect our natural environment, but this doesn't need to come at the expense of local communities and food production capability. I will give way.
Bradley Thomas.
Right, very brief question. Does she regret that in the Liberal Democrat manifesto, the Liberal Democrats want to build even more houses than the Labour Party?
I thank the honourable gentleman for his intervention. We are calling for the building of more affordable houses, more social housing, and I stand by that commitment. But what we're seeing at the moment is free-for-all for developers, and unfortunately, now that we no longer have a 5-year land supply, we can't assure that we're going to build the right kinds of houses in the right places at the right price. I call on the government to publish the land use strategy as soon as possible, and it must extend far beyond DEFRA. Multifunctional land use touches on transport, housing, energy, local government and more. We need a genuinely joined-up approach. And my second and last point is our farmers need clarity and support. Henry Dimbleby's National Food Strategy describes this vicious cycle in which agriculture both contributes to climate change and is threatened by it. Instead of breaking this cycle, the government is creating an economic environment that pushes farmers towards damaging practices like excessive fertiliser use and intensive animal agriculture because they see no other viable option if they're to stay in business. I know from speaking with my farmers across the South Cotswolds that they're really keen to be allies in tackling climate change and biodiversity loss, but they're being met with mixed messages and one economic blow after another, like the family far tax and the abrupt end of the SFI, as already mentioned. These decisions undermine both climate resilience and farmers' livelihoods. So we need a strategy that aligns the land use framework, the food strategy, and a credible farming roadmap. And we need transparency about how the government intends to deliver the 10 priority outcomes set out in its own food strategy. This is eminently possible. With thoughtful, holistic planning, collaborative working, and genuine respect for local knowledge, government can chart a path that strengthens our food system, restores our natural world, and delivers the development our country needs. Thank you.